let me see if I can break down what happens next for the Menendez brothers. So they have this habeas corpus petition waiting to be heard by the judge. Now, habeas corpus means I'm just challenging my imprisonment. The judge, hearing that, asked the prosecution for some kind of opinion as to whether he agreed with the fact that they needed and should be resentenced. Today he came down and said, yes, I believe and agree they should be resentenced. That happened today. Now, that's not the end all be all. He can't make any decisions. It still has to go in front of a judge. So he'll present that opinion to this trial judge hearing the habeas corpus. Now, the trial judge then has to have a hearing and can do one of two things at that hearing. One, he can say, I'm going to give you 50 years, 25 on each murder, run consecutive, so 50 years. He can do that. And if he does that, then they have to go back to prison and wait on a parole hearing, because they would only be released on parole. So they would then have to go back to prison and wait on a parole hearing. And the parole board, by the way, can say, no, we're not letting you out. You're going to have to petition for the next, 6 months or whatever to have the release on parole. So it doesn't mean that they necessarily get out right then. The other thing he can do is say, I'm going to run these sentences concurrent and just give you 25 years, which would mean they've already maxed out, and that's how they get released on that day. I don't see that happening. I don't see a judge saying, hey, you're free to go, goodbye. I think he's going to want something hanging over their head. So he will sentence them to 50 years, I think, so that he can say, you have 50 years, you've been released on parole. If you fuck that up, then you're going to go back to prison for the rest of the prison sentence. Parole comes with conditions, and if you violate any of those conditions, you go back for the remainder of your sentence. I think that would be more likely to happen than him just saying, bye-bye, you're free to go. So if it goes back to the parole board, again, they have to decide if they're going to release them. That's what happens. Now, how long does that take? So the judge has a hearing scheduled for November the 29th. He can wait on that hearing date on the 29th, or he can move that up. If he moves that up and has it, like in the next couple of weeks per se, then they might be released probably, if the parole board agrees with their release, they could be released by middle of December. If he doesn't move that up, the hearing is still scheduled for the 29th, and they're not getting out until maybe January, middle of January. Anyway, I hope they get out. I think they really deserve it.